enough of a cushion to win this game, but there's some things we need to do execution-wise better. I think ultimately, I think everybody, as you heard in the crowd, we had a huge sigh of relief. You heard this, and then you heard everybody cheer and they're really excited. I think the coach has done a great job with their team in lieu of the fact that they've lost their point guard. The thing that I think that hurt us ultimately in the second half that made it such a close game for the Jaguars was this, is that we kept fouling shooters. And we kept fouling shooters, we kept putting them in the free throw line. That kind of nicked away at that lead that we had. You combine that with the fact that they're only 1 for 5 in the first half, they're great three-point shooters, that combination of fouling shooters, putting the free throw line early, and then their ability to be able to hit, threes is really going to hurt you. And I think that's probably, before I even watch film, that's the one thing that I know for sure off the top of my head, that we got to do a little bit better execution-wise, not fouling them. It is something we did talk about, the fact that they're great three-point shooters, top in the nation, top obviously in the conference, and phenomenal free throw shooters as well. And that's generally what happens with great three-point shooting teams. They work really hard on developing the ability to get to the basket, get to the free throw line, and knock down those shots, another way for them to score as well. But our kids, again, found a way to close it out. And the nice thing, too, about this game, I was able to roll out a couple players we haven't seen some time in a little while, and that's in Raven Burns and Corey Moore. And I think that was really fun and exciting for everyone to have them out there.
Still, though, with how, how many three-pointers they like to shoot, they only had 10 three-pointers in the game.
That's pretty awesome.
Talk about your defense and what they were able to do there.
We challenged the team. These women can tell you, really challenged the team. We did a great job at UTA, and then we come back, and I was extremely disappointed. I was a very angry person today, they can tell you that, and shoot around, ultimately because the more you reflect as a coach and you truly understand what we have the capability of doing, I was not very happy with the fact that we had that, we had a great showing of defense, and then we just kind of fell on our face defensively. Nothing to take away from Georgia State, but for us to give up 45 points is really, really hard to swallow, and the high percentage they shot. So it was really important to me that we were able to do a good job defensively. In addition to that, our history against great three-point shooting teams has been kind of tough in the past, and so I'm really proud of these young women as far as being able to guard the arc. That was one of the keys for the game, and they found a way to do that.
Were they just pressuring the outside and staying close to the three-point shooters when they would penetrate inside? What were you seeing specifically that they were doing really well there?
Really and truly, they guarded the ball. They guarded the ball, and they had the ability, and the young women clearly understand. We talked about being able to touch the ball, and that was the language that we generally use, especially against great three-point shooting teams. You're not just going to close out and contest because these kids will shoot in your eye. You need to be able to touch the ball. That then forces them either to make a pass or put the ball on the floor.
The team allowed 23 points in the first half. How difficult is this team to beat when they're locked in defensively?
I think it makes it tough for any team when you struggle scoring at times, and so I think the nice thing about that, especially when you're at home, I think the opportunities are a little bit better for us offensively. It makes it a lot of fun for them, because really and truly that's an area right now that this team has kind of matured and gotten better, and that's defense. It's allowed us to have opportunities offensively.
Now you added Moyer and Burns to the rotation. What did they add, going forward?
I think right now that they're both very unique. The one thing that you'll find about Raven Burns is that although she's a great shooter, what I've asked her to do is not come in and take quick shots, but to continue to play defense for us when she goes in, and then when those shots are open, knock them down. So she opens up the floor for us. No different than Corey Moore. Corey is a very good back to the basket player as well as she's a face-up shooter. I think with our struggles more recently with that 4 slot, being able to shoot the ball, we're getting a lot of double teams sometimes inside. I think she also adds that additional opportunity for us to be able to look at some high lows.
You talked to me after the Georgia State game about how you felt like the team you were getting good looks, you just weren't making the shots. Something similar tonight. 36 or 37% shooting, just good shots, just not knocking them down, or.
Without watching film, I couldn't say. I do know that I felt like the majority of our shots were good. I'd probably say 40% that were bad shots. They got some runouts. We took some quick shots. We started to feel good, to be honest with you. And I get that. I get that as a player. You're feeling good. You feel like the rim's a little bit soft. You're going to take you an early one. The issue that we had, though, is we took an early shot, and then they would run in transition, and then we would foul them and put them in the free throw line. And that kind of snowballed. And so my language has always been with this team. You can take, generally speaking, almost everyone has a green light from what's comfortable for you, but it has to be within flow of our offense.
Now, Ariel, you've played on the bench. You've really succeeded in that role. How much freedom do you have in this offense to do what you do best?
I would say I have a lot of freedom because Coach trusts me coming off the high screen, and like being able to draw defenders on not only for my 3-point shooters, but also for my 4-player popping or me getting to the hole. So I think I have a lot of freedom, and it just opens up the offense.
You seem to feel really comfortable with hitting a really important shot. You know, your team, you're up by 2 points. They've gained the momentum back, and you were able to hit a shot there to put yourself back up by 4. Take me through that shot and what you were thinking.
Really, I just noticed the shot clock was going down, and I knew we needed a basket, and I have confidence in my shooting, of course, since I hit a couple shots. And so when Kaylin set the rub screen, I just knew I had to pull it, and it went in.
This kid did some things. She did some damage in state. Well, so did this one, too. They both did in high school at the state tournament. Yeah, they're not gun shy.
Definitely not gun shy. You took 11 shots. You made 7 of them. Why were you so successful tonight?
I mean, just getting in the gym and putting up extra shots and being able to take those shots in the game.
And now, you had a chance to put the game up at 3. What was going through your mind on that free throw, the 1-on-1?
Breathe, take your time, hold your follow through. I mean, I missed it, but I trusted my team to get back on defense, and we stopped the ball and we got the win. So
It seems like, you've established a little bit of a big 3, with Ariel and you and Ashley. It seems like every night you're putting up, about 15 points apiece. How does that feel as an offense to be able to sort of do that and challenge teams to not have to just stop one person, but they've got to stop 3 players or 4 players, depending?
I mean, it feels good. Just executing on offense. Everybody has the green light to take the shot that they practice in the flow of offense. So for all of us to just put up numbers, that's a good feeling.
How do you feel going into what's going to be a really big game, chance to possibly, pass Arkansas State, who's the #1 team in the conference? How much are you looking forward to this challenge?
I'm looking forward to the challenge. I mean, everybody wants to knock off that #1 team, so you put yourself in a good position. So, yeah, I feel confident about it.
And I have a question for everyone. You guys haven't lost 2 consecutive games since December. Why have you guys been so able to, bounce back from a loss and win the following game?
I think the most important thing I see as a coach, and you can hear the response as players, is that this team is slowly starting to mature. We're not making as many mistakes, and that's really what you want. Anytime, and I'm going to say what I've said from the beginning, you have 8 new faces that are new to Texas State. It's going to take some time, and so it's taken time. This team's mature. They're still not where I'd like them to be, but we're getting better every single time. And again, in timeouts, generally speaking, this team is very good in timeouts, so no different than, we got knocked back. We really got knocked back at Georgia State, to be honest with you, I felt, and they found a way, and that's just a sign of maturity. And so now how, we're able to handle this win and move forward against the best team in the conference, who is beatable, but they're still the best team in the conference on their home floor. Very difficult to play in Jonesboro. It's really going to be an exciting challenge, and really and truly the pressure's off the team in that type of a situation.
Every team wants to be in that scenario, though, and talk about you're building up a program, and for them to be able to be in this scenario has to be a good sign for where you're growing as a team.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I think at times the players don't understand that I get it, but I really put a lot of pressure on them to really right now start focusing, and the fun piece comes later. And if you lose focus on whatever your ultimate goal is, whether to obtain an A, whether it is to save up money for a house, whatever that is, if you lose focus at all and you stray, then you might miss that opportunity altogether. And I think ultimately that's what I'm trying to get across to them. I use 1,000 different analogies, as many ways as I can to get them to truly understand what it means. But yeah, I think they're excited about it, to be honest with you. Of course, and they should be. They've earned this opportunity at this point, but I'm going to keep applying the pressure.